You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Are you ready to learn the 3 secrets to launching a successful podcast? Hi, I'm Bill, a recent client of the Podcast Mogul. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast but aren't sure where to begin, he's got you covered. He is hosting a free webinar where he will share the 3 secrets that can help you launch, grow, and monetize your podcast without any fancy equipment or technical headaches. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot now and let him help get your podcast off the ground.
Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the Podcast Mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better. And with me today is the smart real estate coach himself, Chris Prefontaine. Chris, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Phil. I'm looking forward to diving in, and hopefully we'll have some good nuggets during our chat.
I think we will. And I can tell by your accent, you're from Massachusetts, right?
That's exactly correct.
Oh, I don't think we're going to be able to talk hockey because I'm from Montreal, so we can't talk hockey.
Oh, man.
We'll leave hockey out of it.
That'll be another show.
Yeah. Chris, I have a great bio I have here from your team. That's from the Smart Real Estate Coach. But I want you to introduce yourself to my audience so that they can get to know you a bit better.
Sure. So I'll do 31 years in about a minute here to keep it simple. And then you can go back to any piece of that if you want. So I've been at this 31 years this month, actually. And when I say this, I'm in the real estate world right now, post 2008 crash. When I say right now, everything got re-engineered. We do deals locally here with our family, my son and son-in-law and family. But then we go teach that all around North America. And so most of that is, as we'll talk about, done virtually, thanks to COVID. And when I say teach that, we don't just teach it. We get in the trenches and do deals with students because I think there's an enormous gap in a lot of industries, but certainly real estate, where stuff's getting sold, but no one's executing. And it's because of fear and lack of support. So that's what we do. And we're still doing it ourselves as well.
I love that. I love how you're going into the trenches. You're working with your students on these deals and you're showing that, hey, I'm invested in your success because I'm putting my money where my mouth is and that. So I want to start pre-COVID. So you started after the crash, correct? Or
after 08. Yeah. I mean, I've been at it for 31 years, but after 08, I said, this is ugly. Like I was really beat up financially. And I said, all right, what are we going to do? If we're going to do real estate, something's got to change here. And so what I should have said is what we do now, and what changed is no banks, no borrowing money. We don't sign personally and guaranteed debt. So we're doing everything on what we call creative real estate or terms.
Awesome. I love that. And so why did you decide to jump into this type of, apart from getting destroyed in 08, which a lot of people did, what started the real estate bug for you? Let's go back 31 years.
Way back. Yeah. So my dad was he dabbled in real estate. His main business was a welding business, but he would build his own buildings and then lease them back to himself, to his companies. And I didn't get that as a kid. I said, what do you mean you lease them back? They're both you. But now I get it in hindsight. And it was pretty cool what he was doing. So he'd build a building, lease it to his company, which is a welding supply company. And then he would dabble with land and he would just be around some of his partners. And I was exposed to that, bottom line. And then back before politics was an issue, I read Trump's first book. That would have been in the 80s. I got married in 86. So that was way back then. And I've just been intrigued ever since. So I did college to go through the motions, but I really was all about real estate from way back then.
And then when you got into the real estate building business and then '08 happened, how did you transform your business? Like you said, no more banks, no more money. How did you go about doing the creative term business deals?
Yeah, I had no choice. I mean, literally, I went from someone who had credit and had some cash flow to credit in the toilet, not, couldn't get a loan to save my life, buildings and homes upside down. It was ugly. So the only way to operate, if I was going to operate at all, because I considered not after getting beat up, was to structure deals creatively whereby I didn't have to use money. I just didn't have it or credit. And so we do that by owner financing. I know in Canada, they call it vendor financing or vendor take back. We did that by lease purchase. And we do that a third way called subject to existing financing. So I buy your house because you need to get out of it and your loan stays in your name, even though I own your house. So those are the three ways that we bought during that and that we still buy now. And then, so that was okay, I have to do this reason. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason we did it was to be able to survive any market because I wasn't going back there again. And so here we are in one of the best markets for creative real estate, like literally in my history of 30 years is right now, with interest rates going up and still chaos. And so it's proved itself. It proved itself during COVID. We were crazy busy when everyone else was panicking, and it's done. The model's doing what it's designed to do.
It's a recession-proof business. There you go. Everybody's looking for something like that. And in real estate, it's the one of the best because it's one of the three main needs that people need. When COVID hit, how did you transition? Like before, I'm guessing you were doing seminars, you were going around the world. Then all of a sudden the world was like, no, sorry, you can't do that anymore. How did you pivot? Like, because it's like an '08 again for you, because your business model you just got beaten up again. So what lessons did you learn when you transitioned?
Yeah, this is interesting. So right when you said that, what came to mind was we had just come off of a very successful event in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and where we had a whole bunch of people join the community. And 4 or 5 of us had flown out. And so we were ready to keep doing that, right? So the media pivot was this. I remember like it was yesterday. So it was March, and we had an event coming up the last week in March. We do every year, okay? But we've done them live. They told us within about a 7 or 10 day notice, we're done. Like the hotel shut down. So with no virtual experience, like our creative director at the time, now he's our CMO, he had no virtual experience. He could film, he could cut, he could do all that. So right here in this building that, by the way, we bought on terms creatively, not a bank.
Nice.
We had a conference room. We pulled the table out. We set up literally a conference table. We set up a card table. We set up our cell phones to be the only way we could get audio through Zoom. And we broadcast our first virtual event. And it was very successful. It's comical now that we pulled that off. Then we transitioned to building a studio in our lower level here in this building, and producing 4 virtual events a year, doing more net than we would have if we were live. So I was real proud of the team and just everybody for the massive pivot. And then lastly, Phil, to some of the other questions, most people were screaming, I don't know what to do in real estate, especially. I just got up to the community and said, look, when there's chaos, be aware of it. I'm not saying be blind, but be laser focused on what we're doing here. And our deals tripled for 3 months in a row because of that. And some of the people to this day are thanking us for pushing them to double down, because they probably would have ran, right? Like so many people did. So long answer, but very good question.
No, I love it because it's true. You looked at the chaos. You're like, okay, we can't do it. We have 7-10 days to figure out how we can give this massive value to our people who have already paid. And you did the simplest thing. Zoom works. Okay, let's try this. Let's do it. And you pulled it off. Looking back, it's probably like, I would not have paid for that, but everybody was trying their own things, and it led to you building a studio, which is massively increasing your revenue.
Yeah, the studio is awesome, and we do all our filming there now. So even our YouTube videos got better quality because we have a studio now. So it was forced, and I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, it's paying dividends on top, like you said, not only for the live events, but your YouTube videos quality have gone up, and you can eventually even start teaching people how to do it themselves down the line, for real estate coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
When I want to tip, because this is going to probably, something like this is going to happen. There's going to be another disruption in the business world. We had the '08 for real estate, which hit every market. We had COVID that hit everybody, supply chains and this and that. And you've been able to pivot twice. through two major events in your industry, both industries you decided to jump into, which is either very good luck for you or you don't have the best time, sometime in the timing. But what is a tip you would have for someone dealing with like situations like the curveballs, the chaos arriving?
Yeah, it depends what industry. So I'll be as broad as I can here. But it goes back to the comment I said, be aware of the chaos. I don't care what industry you're in, right? But be laser focused on what it is you can do, and or your business can do to thrive. Because it's a fact that when there's chaos, when there's another blip, another curveball, that's when fortunes are created. In most businesses, actually, certainly in real estate. And that's why I'm so excited about creative real estate right now. But in any industry, if you carefully do that, you'll come out not just surviving, but thriving. And I guess if I didn't know your industry and you say, well, what if, Chris, this is different. My industry is different. Okay. So find someone in your industry. There's someone in your industry, if it's not real estate, that has gone through some headaches, and just learn from that. There's someone there. Like there's someone for anything you can model on earth right now. If you just go to YouTube or Google it and find someone or get their book or reach out to them and let them guide you, or you can do what most people do, like literally 98% of the population, sadly, and that's listen to the masses, which don't do what they're supposed to do every single day to succeed at a high level. They just don't, right? And that's not a crude statement. That's just reality. The society doesn't do that as a whole.
Yeah, no, they don't follow a process. It's the simple process, the repetitive nature that grows you. You have to continually show up and put in the work day in and day out, and eventually the momentum will get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, well, here, ask yourself this. Do the majority of people, and I don't care where you live, what in the world, do the majority of people do whatever it takes every single day, no matter how hard it is, to succeed at a high level, despite all? No, they just don't. That's just not reality.
That's why we have a 1%.
That's
why there's a 1%.
Do the opposite. Do the opposite. That's exactly right. The 1 or 2% will be you if you do the opposite.
No, it's insane how just doing this, just putting in the work day in and day out, what the 1% or 2% do, and you'll see you'll become better than 98%. Chris, in your 31 years of being an entrepreneur and in your short time being a digital entrepreneur, you must have accumulated some amazing memories. Is there one moment that sticks out that may be helping a client or helping someone with doing a real estate business deal that just cemented why you do this as a living?
Yeah, two things. A moment would be when my son and son-in-law and daughter joined the business. That was like 14, 15. But as far as the bigger picture to what you just said, what you sparked there was one of our main purpose as a company is to help individuals and families create a lifestyle of their dreams. Now, notice there's nothing about deals in there because it's not about a deal. Everybody can do a deal. And so what we're seeing is people escaping their job right now. That's life changing. Right before you, I did my own podcast with a member from our community, and I hadn't known the answer. I said, Rick, how long have you been at your job? He said, 30 years, 30. And we just got him his first deal. It's like over $100,000. So he's about to walk away from his job of 30 years, and he's been with us a year and a half. That's a game changer. I love seeing that. We have a bunch of those. We call it planning your escape. And so that's what keeps me moving, because that's really creating some serious life experiences and life-changing experiences for generations now, because now he can talk to his family about that, right? And that'll never be forgotten.
Yeah, it's going to be a lesson that passed on for generations and generations, and help their kids and the future generations create the wealth that will free them as well. My God.
Yeah.
Those must be just hit you differently every time you hear them, even if you hear them 100 times a day.
Yeah, even first deals like that was his first deal, is why it came to mind. And he's not too far from me coincidentally geographically, so he came to mind. But there's many more. There's a gentleman in Illinois, Brian, who actually has his own podcast now. But he was 23 years corporate America. He sold elevators. And the emotional piece is his son was getting older, and he was on a plane every other week. And his son said, Dad, I don't like when you leave. I mean, he was broken by that. And so he joined us, and in 9 months, he escaped his job. That's like, we're lifelong friends now. That's game changer again, generationally, because his son, I don't know, but I bet his son, who's probably 9 or 10 now, will probably perhaps be in his real estate business. I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, it's probably just like how your father did his business in real estate and you understood a bit of it and then you took it to the next level.
Yeah.
His son probably is going to go to the next iteration of the real estate business, something like you do or something even different.
Cool
That's
stuff.
monumental. That's monumental. Chris, I love books. And I'm pretty sure seeing the stack of books behind you, not just your own books, because you're a 3-time best-selling author, Real Estate on Your Terms, the new rules of real estate investing, and Monique Sawyer's Real Estate Investing for Women. I want to know, is there a book that you usually suggest for entrepreneurs, people looking to free themselves from the 9-to-5, that you would suggest that they pick up and read?
This is tough only because it depends on where they are and where I am anytime I answer this question, right? Because you're presumably reading something that you're working on right now. And hopefully you're changing that in 6 months. But generally speaking, I like Behind the Arches, the McDonald's story, because it's not just real estate, it's business. And there's a lot of challenges in there, like crazy challenges. And then I like Michael Dell's newest book. I just read it about 4 months ago because it's super current post-COVID. And again, he tears back the curtain and tells you what is a tough part of what's going on. So you know what to expect out there. It's not all fluff. So those 2 books come to mind, but there's so many depending on what stage you're in.
No, I like I just finished watching The Founder on the Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing story. And I want to get the book because obviously the book will have more golden nuggets in it to take away from. Just before I jump off the screen and let everybody know where they can find you, Chris, I have one question I want to ask you. What is a seek discomfort moment or story you're most proud of? One where you sought discomfort.
Discomfort, but most proud of?
Yeah, that helped you grow and change, because that's seeking discomfort is where you grow in the discomfort.
Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be during. I could tell stories that probably make people fall off their chair, but what happened to me during the crash. But one in particular was an ego check. Prior to 2008, leading up to the problems, a lot of people I trusted said to me, "You got to sell your house." I had a 2.5 acre lot overlooking Newport Harbor, and that's not easy to get around here. So they all told me. I said, "I'm not doing that. I'll be fine." Now, it took me, from that point, I started getting advice probably 3.5 years. But my wife talked me into it, and it was to move from that home to a $900 a month, 600 square foot, 1-bedroom apartment. And that's what I did. And that's what let me rebuild my entire life and not have a steamroller behind me and make way better decisions. It was life-changing, but it sucked at the time. I told my wife, okay, I'll do it for 6 months. We lived there 6 years and built an absolute dynasty because of it.
I love it. And that's a great story to be proud of. And a great thing to say, hey, put your ego in check, because sometimes it can bring you more.
Yeah, it was a big
Chris, I'm going to jump off the screen. I want you to let my audience know where they can follow you, how they can support you in that. And the floor is yours.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. We put a link together for your tribe only. They'll get free books, free bestsellers. Now, please understand, this is not a get my free book and you go there and put $10 in for shipping. I can't stand those offers. Those aren't free. Free is go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Phil. That's wickedsmartbooks.com/Phil. If you don't mind my accent and the fact that I love the Bruins, even though I'm on Phil's show, you can go deal with me on a 1-hour class. It's free. I'm big on free because I want you to be able to say, okay, I know enough from going through the free resources that I want to delve deeper. And only then should you delve deeper. So go to smartrealestatecoach.com/masters class. And that's a free 1-hour class with me.
Awesome. Chris, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, sharing your story and your journey about being a digital entrepreneur and the 2 major course corrections you had to do in your life. It was a great time talking with you.
Well, same here. And you're doing awesome things to empower people. So keep it up.
Thank you so much. And to my audience, make sure you check out the links for the show notes down below to get the links. And remember to always invest in yourself.
Thanks for tuning in. Now it's time to take the next step. When you're ready to dive deeper into how to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast, Phil's got something special for you. Join him for a free webinar where he'll reveal the 3 secrets that have helped countless entrepreneurs succeed in podcasting. Click the link in the show notes to save your spot, and let's turn your podcasting dreams into reality.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.